It's essentially just a graduation.
Ben,
Sup, Ed? What's with the... Actually, what is this?
we finally did it.
Did what?
We've done our first step up the nice, gigantic ivory tower of academia by graduating university.
Isn't this just the end?
Congrats, that's the end of the episode. Nah, just kidding. Not necessarily the end. As you know, beyond a undergraduate degree, there are like multiple other, educational portfolios that you could attain. Diplomas, other off-the-script certificates, a master's, and a PhD. What do you think the acronym stands for?
I believe it was permanent head damage.
I was gonna say that, but thanks for stealing the thunder. Now I have to actually give the acronym. It's a Doctor of Philosophy. Yep.
Wait,
So
what?
now-
Everyone's a philosopher.
So they're the doctors that you don't turn to for help when you have a heart attack by the side of the road.
Yeah, sounds about right.
To that cause, you call the ambulance number in the country that you happen to be residing in. But that's beside the point. Welcome to the Whiskies and Weed special. This is our education special.
Yes.
Because education is a topic that, deeply ties the two of us in together. It's how we met, again, and it's how this thing even got started.
Indeed.
Right, Ben, do you want to give the backstory, now is the flashback arc? Or am I going to have to do it?
Wait, didn't we cover this in the...
Yeah, we covered it probably in the pilot, but mukashi, we met
Yes.
in secondary 2. Then we...
Tuition, of all places. A very, very Singaporean thing to happen.
Yep. As you know, private tuition industry is doing pretty well. Then after that, we met again in university, this time in year 2.
Yep.
Yeah, year 2, right?
Yeah, we were looking at alcohol while our English literature, was it?
Let's
Creative
not give him
Yeah.
that benefit of the doubt. Let's just call him the guy taking our module on creative writing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the guy taking our creative module, right? The guy who was taking our module on creative writing, we were browsing alcohol, and then I pitched the idea of Whiskies and Weeds to Ben. Then we met, drank, and on July 29th, the first episode was up.
Here
Loaded
we
to
are
YouTube.
now, I guess. A full... Oh, it's been more than a year already, right?
It's effectively a year. Yeah, effectively
there.
a year. Yep, it's been a long time. We've come quite a long way since doing, like, you've done an internship, I've done an internship, we've done meme research papers. In fact, this week where we're filming this, or rather
The week?
we're filming this on a Sunday, so
Yeah.
the weeks that are bridged by the filming of this episode
Mm-hmm.
are the weeks that contain our convocation or graduation ceremonies from university.
Yeah, essentially where we threw our caps. When we threw our caps.
Yeah.
So,
Of course, I didn't bother doing that. I had an appointment to go after my ceremony, so I kind of rushed off. But
that's the whole purpose of the cap, no?
really,
Kinda. You bought it.
I mean, I bought it so that I could, dress up for a day. But that's about it.
Yeah, I
Maybe
guess.
another day. But hey,
That's besides the point.
yep. So we are finally graduating. Ben, how does it feel now that you have stepped out of education and you're officially a NEET?
Yeah, thanks for stealing the thunder. Now I have to explain what being a NEET feels like.
Maybe what a NEET is first. Yeah, you've
Fair
seen the term show up in many like animes.
Yes. I think the first time I actually saw it was in NHK New Yokoso.
Okay.
Welcome to the NHK. But essentially it's an abbreviation of not in employment, education, or training.
Yep, training.
Yep.
So you are in effect not doing much.
I am in effect a hobo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas meanwhile, I've already gotten a job, so I am essentially a fully working adult. Ben is working on his way to becoming a fully working adult.
Becoming a functional human being. Hey, bro, don't put it this way. At least now I can say that I'm a full-time YouTuber. Thank God for this channel.
Man makes a very fair point. So we do need more views.
Mhm.
All right. So if you're a student who is seeking out a alternative opinion on education, we are here to provide it in this episode. Right. But before we actually get into the episode proper, We are Whiskies and Weeps. I think the weep part is going to be left out for quite a fair bit this episode, so let's just get to the whiskey.
Hey, don't say that. There will be plenty of weep. I
Right,
think.
right. As long as our brains are sufficiently able to draw the references. Right? So Ben, what do you think I got here today?
Well, from the wording, it is a Kavalan.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Alright, so today we have a rather special bottle. It's your first time seeing a Kavalan like this small, right?
Indeed. Pray tell, where exactly do you find this cute little looking bottle?
Right, so I was on a trip to Taiwan for my graduation trip. We'll get to that like later. And I paid a visit to the Kavalan distillery at Yilan County.
Yes, I think
Yes.
most people have seen the Insta reel.
I would hope so. So while I was there, I sampled like a great number of cask strength Kavalan whiskies. So cask strength essentially being a higher percentage alcohol where it is drawn directly from the cask and is not watered down to produce like a certain standard percentage. Usually 40%.
Yeah.
So cask strength can range anywhere from like 50.1% to I believe 59.9%.
Wait, is that the highest?
I believe that is the usual standard range that they provide.
Yes, we are forgetting about the Indian Amrut.
Yeah, so Amruts provide like way beyond that. They provide like 60 somethings.
It's pretty much drinking pure ethanol. Not
No.
pure ethanol, but
Amrut, at least compared to Paul John, has good amounts of expressions of flavor. It actually is a whiskey with personality and delightfully smooth for things that might actually end up at like 67.8% alcohol.
I guess I haven't tried enough Amruts.
Yeah, you need to try more Amruts. But besides the point, so this is a Kavalan Distillery Reserve cask strength whiskey that was, I believe, matured in a Madeira cask.
Those are a lot of loaded terms right there. Would you like to elaborate on each one?
Alright, so this box is kind of useless, so let's put that away. I can't read Chinese very well. Alright, so
How the hell do you survive in Taiwan?
这个那个这个那个那个那个
Yes, ordering
Alright.
your Cai Fans.
So this here is a single malt cask strength. So the percentages for this is at 56.3% alcohol.
Quite reasonable.
Quite reasonable, right? It's roughly similar to the Vinho Barrick that we sampled the previous time around. It's been matured in a Madeira cask. So Madeira is a wine. So you can expect some fruity, interesting, funky, woody flavor. So one thing that I can note about this whiskey, because I tried it, was that it is very similar to the Vinho Barrick in terms of texture. It bites, it dries your tongue out. You can really get the effect of like the winey cask.
Sounds interesting already.
Right. Yes, although if I have a bias, it's towards the rum cask. Yeah, that is amazing.
So what does it mean by reserve?
Well, so this bottle is very, very limited. Very, very limited.
Explains
So
the
limited
size.
that they have to make it in the form of a... They're selling it in like 300 ml bottles.
Yeah.
And it still pulls a premium compared to the other like very standard cask strengths that they sell. So like
damn.
the ex-bourbon cask, the Vinho Barrick, and I believe the port cask?
Podcast?
Yeah. So we don't have the podcast available, but
No worries, we'll edit that out.
yeah, we're probably gonna have to edit that out. So as you can see here on this, there is a bottle number. So it's the 110 bottle of 485 bottles, and there's even a specific cask number. By the way, at the distillery, you could actually like pour your whiskey straight from the cask into your glass if you're willing to pay for it.
Oh damn.
Yep. So definitely a must visit.
If you have the money to spend, why not?
No, at the distillery, the prices are very reasonable
Oh,
if you were
shit.
to just get like a single dram.
You got yourself a few drams, I assume.
I did 6 in a row.
Whew! Alright, I can see that it's pretty darn affordable then.
Yeah. So apparently there's this little like slip of paper here that says gives some indicator of the tasting notes. So nose wise, you can expect fruity flavors, cherry, grape, apple, hints of honey and cinnamon spice. It's not the spiciest one. There are more spicy like Kavalans, but it
guess.
does have some like aggressiveness to it. And then buttery aromas of toffee, almond, and vanilla. And palate wise, rich lemon and apricot flavors. And then fig, marmalade, grape, white pepper, cinnamon. Right?
Sounds like the smell does not belie the taste.
Indeed. So now we should get to actually trying the Kavalan's Madeira cask distillery.
Alright.
Alright.
I see you have your special Kavalan glass over there.
So of course this is somewhat of a Kavalan episode.
Are you now being sponsored by Kavalan or something?
Nope. But if someone wanted me to, well, pitch and sell Kavalan products to other people, I'll be more than glad to do it. Alright, so take note of the color. Doesn't it look awfully similar to the Vinho Barrick already?
Yeah, it's awfully dark like the Vino Barrick.
Yeah, same with the triple sherry cask.
No, I was expecting that of the triple sherry cask. This is very dark.
Yep. So the smell is really permeating the air. You can smell like literal grape smell. Have a nose. Nosing wise, not too aggressive. Wait till it gets into your mouth. Are you ready to sample?
Sure.
Alright, cheers mate.
Cheers. Well. Ooh, it bites.
Burns. It bites. And it's not even the spiciest one.
Well, the flavor profile definitely is different from the Vino Barrick. It's more. I think it is definitely less fruity in a traditional fruity like sense.
It's definitely more skewed in like raisin or fig direction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas the Vinho Barrick is more, how I put it,
Grapey.
yeah,
Yeah.
sweeter side, right?
Damn, it smells like vanilla. It does not taste like vanilla.
Yeah. So I actually wanted the rum cask because the rum cask was a lot better than this, but they actually ran out of stock.
Can tell it is.
So I don't really have much of a choice. So I did get the Madeira cask because it was the next one. I do believe that there is one more exclusive cask, but it wasn't even available for listing. Yeah, it wasn't even available in the store.
Interesting. Well, maybe in the future.
Yep. Oh no wait, the rum cask was not available in the souvenir shop, but this one and another one was available. You just need to recall what that one was.
Which one? The King's Card?
No, not King's Car. King's Car Conductor is kind of I didn't try it, but I got a feeling that it's not as exemplary as you think it is.
You have some water on the side. Perhaps we should try a few drips. I see we have a few drips here.
Literally a few drips.
Alright. Oh, here goes nothing.
That's more than a drip.
Pretty sure we will need a pipette for this.
In the far future, our shaky hands.
No, I can. Oh, that's clearly more than a drip.
Yeah, so this should have been kept on.
Oh.
That would have been better for measuring. So now mine is literally the color of like some cheap ass 40%.
Hey, even then it looks a lot thicker than most of the 40%.
Oh god, it just made me burn more. Ugh. I think just a drop would have been good. This is, I'm afraid, a bit too aggressive.
Yeah, a drop definitely does help.
Alright, so first thoughts. Is it a great whiskey worth the, well, special bottle sizing?
It definitely has a different taste profile. I don't think I've had anything similar. Definitely has a good bite. Whether or not it's worthy of the 300ml bottle, I guess so.
Really?
It works well.
I guess I'm just infatuated with the
The rum
the
cask.
rum cask. That one was
Good. The good
it's
stuff.
just it. It's like it's him. The rum cask is him.
I mean, this isn't too bad. It's like It's an interesting fruity flavor profile that you don't usually find in like most of the other whiskeys.
Yeah, it's definitely on the more complicated side of things, right? So now that we're done being wishy-washy about the bottle, let's get back to being wishy-washy about ourselves.
Hey, isn't that what the entire 4 years has been leading up to?
Yeah.
Learning how to smoke better.
No.
Oh wait, that's just me.
I answer with logic and rationality, so I can't really say much about you. Given
As
that,
long as it makes sense, you just don't got to think too hard about it.
all right. So that's it. Let's get back to actual like interesting topics.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned that I went to Taiwan on a graduation trip. So graduation trip is usually something you do to commemorate like the end of a certain bit of tertiary education. So for some people, those who graduate from JC, they normally started off by going to Pulau Tekong. That's like a very interesting way,
Yeah.
very basic way for those unfortunate enough to have a January intake.
January?
Yeah.
I thought it was December.
No, I don't think so. I think most JC graduates go in January, the start of it.
From what I remember, there was a few batches that barely have a month of like actually relaxing after graduating from JC and then going in to enjoy the palm trees and the palm oil.
Well,
not so much the palm oil, but the palm trees.
Enjoying the plantations and crawling around it, I guess.
Well,
for me, I happened to went in with the obese batch, so I went in after Chinese New Year at the end of January. And same thing, I also ORD at the end of January. Whereas you see that most junior college graduates, they all end up going in the first two cohorts, so the January and the April batch. Then you will start to see people get distributed randomly out from other tertiary education, so from the polytechnics as well as the ITs.
Yeah, they have a different graduation period, so it's understandable.
Yep, especially when they don't operate by the typical 1 year block of education that you see from the previous levels of education, primary and secondary.
Yeah, they function more like university education systems, but that's besides the point. Compulsory grass touching program, yes.
Don't say that. Some people don't even touch grass.
For most
despite going to Tekong. Yeah? So that's it. Grad trips. That is kind of like a interesting topic that most people want to hear about. Because it's normally something that you do. You can do it two ways, right? You can do it alone. You can do it with someone else, other people. So I went with some of my closest friends from secondary school to Taiwan. Of course, it being like 3 dudes who do not have a exemplary command over the Chinese language.
How does that work?
Well, for one, Google Lens is very useful.
Fair enough.
Because you just take a snapshot of your entire menu, and then suddenly, you know that Luro Fan is actually braised pork rice. And then that's how we also found out like there's like chicken noodles or something else like that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that y'all actually made it, cause that's the Chinese used in Taiwan is traditional Chinese, so it will be doubly difficult for you.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
Well,
so Ben, did you go on a grad trip?
Well, not anything traditional like the overseas grad trip. I went on a cruise.
I'm on a boat.
I'm on a boat.
So how was your trip on the boat? You certainly didn't have good whiskey like me to enjoy.
No,
I started my trip off with
surprisingly you can't bring whiskey onto boats. That was indeed a shame. I tried to search on the internet for ways to bring whiskeys onto boats, but none of them really made too much appeal too much. There was this thing called a whiskey pouch where you hang by your waist. It's like a fanny pack, but then
a whiskey pouch.
Yeah.
So you just hang a bottle?
No, you pour it into a bag, like, and then you hang it by that area. Yeah.
That sounds like a very gross way to bring your whiskey along with you.
You can understand why I didn't bring anyone. But
apparently something fun was that you're not supposed to bring back open bottles of whiskey.
From overseas?
Yep.
Huh.
because the corks could
Makes
when
sense.
it's inside check-in.
Makes sense.
But that's what I did anyway, and surprisingly, that bottle of what is it? Singleton of, it's not Dufftown, of Glen Ort 12 actually survived the trip back. So my friend didn't find his entire suitcase like flooded with
allegedly.
sweet tasting groundwater. Yeah.
Allegedly.
No, it survived. It survived the trip.
I don't think you should be incriminating yourself on camera, but cool.
No, that's not incriminating. It's just discouraged.
Is it? Oh,
It's
so
not
it's not
illegal. It's just discouraged.
right.
Because it might pop, and that's like, you know, your clothes getting soaked, stuff like that.
Fair enough.
You know? Yeah. So graduation trips are... Do you feel like they are a staple of any kind of graduates?
I think it.
Post-graduation activities or...
I mean, for those with the means too, is definitely a very good way of like marking an end to a chapter. It's a very definite way of saying that, you know, we are done with this shit.
Once in a
Time to-
lifetime
yeah,
thing, right?
exactly.
Isn't it funny that most people do their grad trips before their graduation ceremonies?
Well, there's no reason to wait a full half a month to do your graduation trip, especially.
Half a month?
Sorry,
You mean 2.5 months?
A year for university students.
Yeah, it's actually 2.5 months.
Wait, what?
Graduated at the end of... We finish our semester at the end of May, and then our ceremonies are now in like
Wait, we
the
ended in May?
second half of July.
Oh shit, I thought we ended. Wow.
So there's a whole of June, and then there's like half of July.
Right.
So 1.5.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are there any other interesting like graduation activities like that you thought of doing?
That I thought of?
Yeah.
I'm not a very interesting person. I would stay in and consider just like chilling for the entire day a graduation activity. Yeah.
You stay in hall, right? Like, were there any graduation parties at your last day in your hall or something?
Not much. I would drink with my friends most of the day, so you know every day passes in a blur. Anyways, but
Yes. When you're drinking
Yes.
every day, drinking isn't really too special if you're doing it all the time.
exactly. But everyone has their own way. As long as it marks an end, a definite end, I think anything's fine for a graduation like celebration. Even going to a chalet, enjoying your time there, can be a perfectly good graduation trip. Having a good dinner as well could be graduation celebrations.
These are all very plausible options.
It's Singapore. You don't have much to do, man. Anything works as long as you
That's
can.
why
do
you
it.
leave the country.
I
That's
guess
why you walk away, you go out to another land, and then you get lost, and then you do things there.
I guess that's why graduation trips are that much of a.
That's why they are very hyped up, very enjoyed, staple
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
No, sorry to say, my graduation trip was just me on a ship reading a book.
That's
Pretty
kind of
much.
sad.
Pretty much.
Actually, leading up to your graduation, like your last day of the semester, what were you doing? Because I believe we had two very different semesters.
Right. Yes.
I was doing an internship, whereas you were doing your research project, right? How did the assignment crunch feel like as you were heading towards the end?
Yes. Funny story. I was on the day of the submission. I went overseas, and when I went overseas, when I finally touched down and had internet, I had to rush through. Actually, no, we just gave up submitting on the day. At the airport, I had to rush through editing quite a bit of the project. So yeah, not a very fun experience. But overall, you know, that's just how uni is. Last minute stuff. Yes.
Gosh, it just seems like you didn't have Nakama power on your side.
I would like to retain my silence. Thanks. Yes. I don't want to incriminate anyone, not especially not myself. But
I mean, despite your startling lack of Nakama power, you still managed to graduate sufficiently. So,
fair enough.
yep. Well, for me,
Your graduation was pretty early on.
my last
essentially.
day of internship was on the 26th of May, and I reported to work the next day on the 27th of May
Yeah.
to help teach for our course.
Essentially, you graduated like a semester early and went to work early.
it's part and parcel of like the design of all these academic curriculums.
Mm-hmm.
Like mine has the internship at the very end so that you can immediately go and work. Whereas like I know that most other people, they either find like summer internships or they have like their internship in their third year for a 4-year program. And then it's during this third year where they clear it and then they go into their final year project. Basically your entire
yes,
like
my
structure.
track.
You get a full year to do your project. I did mine in like half a year.
Fair enough.
Yep.
But that said, I think while we are discussing the topic of like the end of an arc, essentially, like the uni arc,
Right.
for us, how did it feel to be at the end? Like, how did the end feel? Yeah.
Like nothing really, cause I spent the bulk of being burnt out in the previous sem.
Fair enough.
You know, so I believe I spent it was my second semester in year 3.
Right.
So I spent the entire semester being exceedingly burnt out from essentially overloading for the previous 2 semesters. Now, overloading is a concept that probably applies only to the university level because you get to choose how many academic units you want
You get to plan your own schedule
per module.
Yay.
Yeah, essentially. So if all things work out well, you could have a timetable that is exceedingly ideal, or you could have a timetable that's absolute dog shit ass.
You could rush 3 years, or you could enjoy the 4 years, essentially.
Not necessarily. If
3.5.
yeah, usually it's 3.5. Most people manage to like have an early graduation in their 3.5 years. Because I have a couple of friends who did that.
Right.
Yep.
I guess.
They are, well, let's just say hyper competent individuals. So
Yes, they will be very good functional members of society. But I guess your experience with graduation and the uni and isn't the most typical.
yeah.
So I guess your feelings would not be.
Well, on that note, for the
yeah.
people who are watching, if you don't have to necessarily feel like it's a societal norm to have a grad trip. Other suggestions that you post, such as like going for a nice dinner, going for a chalet, or being sent to Tekong, are very good like alternative ways of having a grad trip like experience. You can let your personality shine on this. Travel doesn't have to be the be or end all.
Or if you really need to, JB is always a very good option.
Let's do travel.
It's cheap. It's cheaper than being in Singapore, at least.
Well, I guess the idea of financial constraints is there, but the rhetoric isn't.
Well, as for me, I don't know if it. How do I put this? On the day of graduating, like the last day of school, officially.
What emotions were going through
exactly.
your turmoil heart?
I can't exactly remember because I don't remember there being any excessively strong emotions. I guess it just felt the same. Then again, it might be because I was only doing FYP at that time. So, yeah. I was doing essentially nothing all day, every day for the last semester, so I guess there is no real difference from what I'm currently doing, so...
So it's time for us to find something else to do. Speaking of nothing, our glasses are kind of empty, so it's time to get the Kavalan Distillery Reserve Single Malt Madeira cask strength.
Congratulations, Ed. Congratulations.
Alright, we're gonna get it on the rocks. Be right back. Alright, Ben, we're back. It's time. Let's have the Kavalan Distillery Reserve Madeira cask Single cask strength on the rocks before we get into our next tenable top.
It doesn't have to be tenable.
Okay, whatever.
Alright. Well,
Honestly, my expectations are not too high.
what, just cause after you added a bit too much water, it bit you in the tongue?
Not really, it just burned. I wonder what adding the ice would do, because if there's one thing I couldn't do when I was at the distillery is that have every single drink on the rocks. Instead, I had every single drink in a Glencairn.
Mm.
Yeah. So I kind of missed out on like being able to add water via pipette.
I think it should
experience the
be
full
part
scope.
of. I think you should like bring a pipette in your wallet everywhere you go nowadays.
That's not gonna be sterile.
You don't need it to be sterile. You just need it to be clean. In any
Wow.
case,
Okay. All right. Let's give it a whiff first. Any substantial changes? Because I'm getting none.
I'm not getting the smell anymore. But then again, it could just be the glass.
Probably. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Let's have it on the rocks. Oh yeah, this is what is needed to bring out the cast.
It's definitely a lot less spicy, less biting.
I've got the full grape in my mouth now.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Now this is personality right here.
It brings out the fruit a lot more. Yes.
Ben, it seems that we both severely misjudged the amount of water that was needed.
A lot more is needed.
And ice that slowly melts is probably it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're gonna need to take our time to savor this. So let's get to our next topic. Actually, wait. First, Ben, it would be an absolute travesty to have like mixers go along with this, right?
Yeah, I think so. This is good whiskey. You don't mix good whiskey.
Isn't that right? So, based on our neat and on the rocks, let's give our rating and cut to the chase so that we can get to the next topic, because boy do I have a special drink for us to have at the very end of this episode.
Sounds interesting.
Right? So how would you actually score this?
I think an 8.5 would be about right. It's not the easiest to get started with.
That's
Yeah.
true. I'll give it a fierce 8. So we got roughly like 8.25 depending.
It's
Yeah.
good, but because it's cask strength, it hits a bit hard.
Yeah, it's definitely not a beginner friendly drink. We're probably going to need to choose the people that we selectively want to give this,
You gotta select
if
wisely.
ever. Otherwise, I'm just gonna enjoy it myself. You know,
Perfectly
on the rocks.
perfectly
This is
good, man.
this is a perfect on the rocks drink for me. Right?
Just savor it while you're chilling and trying to kill people
Bold
in the
personality.
2v2. Wait, what?
Oh, you mean the new ARAM game mode or the new League of Legends game mode?
Yes, but that's
Arena.
besides the point.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to topic. So, actually, I have an interesting like thought
Notion. Oh,
notion.
Go on.
I guess. So, you know how like we spent essentially all our lives studying thus far.
In effect, yes,
In effect,
since 4
yes.
years old.
So wait, 4 years old? What
You
the
did
hell? All right,
uh,
kindergarten.
you did pre-kindergarten, then kindergarten 1, 2. You did proper preschool when you're 4 years old.
Yeah.
You did kindergarten
Wow.
2 years. Apparently I met one of my course mates at that kindergarten.
Wow. Singapore is a small place, man.
Yeah. Then you go to primary school where your education is where primary school constitutes the bulk of your mandatory education. So you must do primary 6 as a Singaporean.
I thought you need to do all the way until secondary school.
No, secondary school is not compulsory education.
Oh, is it?
Yep. So you can then do your secondary school education up to a period of 5 years. So let us not be elitist, but we're going to first give a disclaimer that we are both from the express stream. So there's not a lot of educational representation in this room consisting of 2 people right now. Of course, ideally we would try to have more people, but people are in short supply of Whiskies and Brews. We kind of need more people aside from our
We
permanent guest and
kinda
permanent guest
do.
co-host.
But to be fair, our skill sets are quite limited to our specializations. So
Very much agreed. Is the nature of like occupations in Singapore, right? Then, so if you go to Express, you finish your schooling in 4 years, or your secondary school education 4 years. If you go for NA, normal academic, or you will go to, I believe it's NT,
Yep.
normal technical, you finish your education in 5 years, right? And then you have the option based on your score of going to either a junior college where you spend 2 years, 3 years you retain, or if you go to the Millennium Institute,
Yep.
MI, and then 3 years if you go to a polytechnic. And IT, I believe it depends on your path, because you could take a NITEC to a higher NITEC route,
Right, yes.
or you could just take a NITEC or a higher NITEC itself. And then you finish, and let's say, and then I do have a friend who went to,
Poly.
I believe, higher NITEC into poly and into university. My coursemate.
There's a route.
There is a route.
There are many routes, and none of them are the same. Then again, it's not purely off grades. You could be a rather dapper lad and make it into sports.
Yes, so I believe that's where the DSA system comes in, the direct school application. So if you are sufficiently competent in a certain skill set, so I do know certain netballers, I do know.
If you watch enough IQ, wait, what?
I don't think you need to watch enough IQ. I think you actually need to be like Hinata if you want to qualify. Right? Not the one from Naruto, the mother of Boruto, but the actual Hinata Shoyo who can jump like 3.33 meters high or something.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, so those are the educational pathways that you see in Singapore.
In any case, that's kind of detracting from the point, but since we spent so long in the education system, just for a side note, when do you start watching anime?
P4.
Ooh, that's early on. I think I started around P6. But yeah, that's essentially been how many years thus far? 13 years?
15 for me.
15 for you, 13 for me. We've been through 3 education systems. Well, you 4.
3 educational institutes.
Institutes.
To be
You 4. Primary school, secondary school,
that
JC. Yep. So, safe to say, you've been growing as a person academically as well over these 4 institutions. Has your take on like some of the animes that you have watched changed? You know, since we are always gaining different perspective, I would say that my education in sociology has changed the way I've watched anime, and it has, I wouldn't say it's for the best, but it has changed.
Yeah, you have been corroded by your political and your sociological ideologies. In regards to me, so as you know, I do fitness stuff, right? So sports animes in the more combat sportish purviews, I guess is probably the right word here, have always been the ones that have been closer to heart. So Hajime no Ippo, that has been with me since secondary school, right? Then your classic shonens that involve like fighting, so things like Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, all these have been like very close to heart since I was like in primary school. Then there's like your takes, and as my understanding of like sports and exercise like increase, then more complicated plot lines or exercise based, martial arts based animes, mangas have always been appealing and picked up. Right? Like Baki, Kengan, those have always been like fringe until it became mainstream.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So if you're talking about things that deal with like politics, philosophy, those have always been like not say irrelevant, but they're not the core to they're not the core topics that I ponder or I consider when watching anime, because I don't watch anime to understand a political topic.
Fair enough.
These are all like things that you just catch on to.
That's one way to put it, yeah.
Yeah.
I see you're out. Well, while you're pouring some, I guess I shall talk about my experience with anime. You sure that's enough?
This is in limited supply.
Fair enough. But it's good shit. You should drink.
Yeah. It is good stuff.
But yeah, well, definitely over the years, first things first, we are no longer in the shonen
No longer human.
What?
What?
Yeah, no, let's not go there yet. Perhaps in the future episode.
Does have some.
What?
What?
No, I was gonna say we are no longer in the age range that one would consider shonen.
Young at heart.
Young at heart, but I won't say officially, but I guess we would be more we'll be more readily considered as seinen,
Okay.
right? So that itself is a progression that well, it came naturally, but that's one of the things that has affected the way that I've watched anime. Like, put simply, if I were to say, when did Code Geass come out? I think it came out
2008.
right. Dude, we were in secondary school, right?
God, Code Geass came
When
out.
I first
Actually,
seen-
I think 2010 or 2012.
Yeah, I think we were in secondary school when that shit came out. When that shit came out, the only thing that was on my mind was, oh cool, look at the mecha.
Can I just say first that I watched Code Geass season 2 before I watched Code Geass season 1?
What?
What? By
Oh.
accident.
How does one watch something? You know what? Never
Because
mind.
you know Code Geass starts the same way.
Yeah.
It starts with chess.
Yeah.
So I never really like realized until I was in too deep that I was like,
Wow.
oh, there's a season 1. Whoops. Now I need to watch and find out why UV got shot. It's not a major spoiler because if you haven't watched a probably 10 decade plus
it's
year
kind of
one-
on you at this point.
Yeah.
It's like saying, if you don't know what the transformation pose from Fullmetal Alchemist, that meme with Nina and Alexander, it's kind of on you at this point.
I believe that's more fringe, but okay.
It's kind of on you at this point that these
Okay,
stuff-
but
yes.
back to your sociological ideologies regarding anime
No, I mean,
and your growth.
there's a natural progression, but that's one of the progressions in, like, you watch Code Geass when you're like 13, 14 and you see, oh, cool mecha, and then when you actually grow up with a bit more knowledge, perhaps the way that you watch Code Geass will change.
Okay, perhaps a better, more tangible example would be, let's think of AOT, Attack
Yeah,
on
sure.
Titan, because AOT deals with political theories, social theories,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like Marley by itself is related to the Marley theory or something.
What?
Yeah, literally.
Well, anyways,
So you start to see So when you first watch AOT, when I first watched it when I was in secondary 3,
wait, it was so early on.
yeah, 2013.
Wow.
So the first anime adaptation by Wit came out in that time, 2013. But the anime had already been ongoing prior to then. I think it was in like 2010 or something, or 2011. It serialized,
The manga.
right? Yeah.
Ah.
Then at first you're just like, oh, gigantic meat mechas beating the shit out of other meat mechas.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Gigantic naked meat mechas.
Based on my contemplations with Remus, I believe that Attack on Titan is a mecha anime.
Yeah, sounds about right. There is a guy piloting it. Yes.
In the same way that Ratatouille is an anime, is a mecha anime, but
Yes.
that's beside the point. So as you start to follow the series and you grow up with it, you start to notice all the more tangible, like, political rationalities that go on in here. All the discrimination plots
Well,
start to hit a bit harder.
I guess you don't really so much as notice it when you never noticed it before, but it just gets forced onto you a little bit more. But yeah, point.
Or it gets more obvious and you start to catch it and you start to notice, like, just how serious the effects are, or like what the wide standing effects are,
Fair enough.
right? Compared to, say, Dragon Ball Super.
No, I haven't watched that.
Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball Super is essentially just your stereotypical shonen plotline.
Ah, yes.
It's the same formula, but everyone loves it. You surely need more, man.
I think I do. But yeah, education definitely changes the way that you view anime. It's like there are different things that you pick up on, or focus on as you, I guess,
As you learn more, as you
Yeah,
adopt
what
more
you are
knowledge.
what you are being exposed to and what you are more aware of at the time. Perhaps if you go back to being a kid at heart, everything
Still
will be
am.
like shonen to you.
Yes, my peak of it was when I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then I watched the fight scene between Aaron and Reiner. And then I was like, oh yes, he's doing a kimura. He's trying to break his shoulder.
Huh. Wow. That's
Yeah.
some
Yeah, like, oh, Aaron's actually doing a close guard. Wow. That was like the peak of it. Yeah, that was like when sports science and hobbies, aka jiu-jitsu, like came together with anime. I was like, hot damn, he's doing shit. You know?
Yeah.
Or like when I watch Kengan Ashura's anime, then it's a beautiful sequence when two major characters are fighting, and then if you watch the flow of the animation, if you can pick up every single action that's being taken by the characters when they are performing mixed martial arts, then you're like, hot damn, this is actually a beautiful flow.
Hot damn.
For those who understand, Kano Agito versus Okubo Naoya, round 1 of the Kenga Annihilation Tournament in Kenga Ashura.
Those words just flew above my head, but
Yep.
bullshit. Well,
So,
yeah, for me it's more like if I were to watch Planetes before uni or even before NS, the ending would feel good. Or it would be like a happy ending. But having gone through NS and then uni and looking back at Planetes, I'm like, shit, the ending was not hard enough. They should have gone further, man. That was a disappointment for a good series.
yeah,
Like-
so this scene here is where you see differences in ideology and learnings. Alright? People think in radically different ways about the same thing. I'm just like, Planetes, I couldn't give a damn. This guy is basing half his entire like life agreements and understandings of a certain topic on it. Or is overly thinking something.
No man, Planetes just didn't go hard enough. They needed to go full ham and then destroy everything. They could have went down the way Shiki did.
Nope,
Which are
not
all
everyone needs to draw like a
Which are
political
references
reference.
that I'm pretty sure flies above everyone's head because no one knows what the hell Shiki or Planetes is.
Alright, so now that we're done with all the esoteric anime references, we're going to get one final drink, and then we're going to go into some actually useful content. Alright, so for that, let's finish up our Distillery Reserve on the rocks, and then we'll see you shortly.
Man, people need to watch Shiki and Planetes.
No one is gonna think the way you do. Most people
Such
don't give a
good
shit.
shows.
No, you see, right? This all brings us back to the things that I talked to you post Whiskies and Weeps episode
Enjoy,
filmings.
man.
Which is kind of like when you pose your ideas, you lack enough satire to get people's attention. Or you fail to present your information in a satirical way that gets people's attention.
Yeah. You just gotta go more ham on it, man.
No one
More
cares.
time. We just need more time.
No one cares.
We need more time.
No.
I need to.
I'm very sure that if there is a anime about environmental degradation, people still aren't gonna give a shit. Except
No,
for activists.
that's not. I mean, there was one, but no one gave a shit about that. But that's not the reason that no one will give a shit about Shiki. It's just that the art style is too off. But it's like if people have watched another, why would they not watch Shiki? I don't get it.
Which plot grinds your gears more?
Shiki.
Exactly. Which plot is
Wait,
generic?
What do you mean grinds your gears more?
Like you don't like it.
No, definitely another. It's way too absurd.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think
Dude.
people love another more than Shiki for a very simple
Have
reason.
you watched Shiki?
Like I told you, I watched up to like 6 episodes.
Yeah, but it's like saying that no one watched Steins Gate because it was too slow. That's like
I didn't watch. I watched like 6 episodes of Steins Gate and I thought it was too slow. That's why the only thing I know about Steins Gate is
Christ,
Elsai Kongru and
Christ,
Daga
man.
Otokoda.
You know?
Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, but that's such a shame.
Yeah, and it's like the same rationality applies to when you watch like fighting animes. They're
That's
like,
why shonen
this
will always be the
is
most popular.
brainless.
Why do we?
No, that's why demographics exist, you dumbass.
No, that's why shonen
You see,
shows are always just more popular.
Your
man.
abject denial of marketing rationality is the reason why you fail to catch this logic. Which is the principal idea that we produce materials for people. And for people does not mean the world. It means whoever we want to see it. Right?
Oh.
Ben, I have a surprise for you.
Wait, we're just drinking this.
I have a even smaller
Wow.
Kavalan bottle.
Wow. From far away, I thought it was one of your Fireball whiskeys.
yeah. So this is the Kavalan number 1 distillery select. So there's actually a number 2, but this came as a freebie if you spent enough money at the distillery's souvenir shop. So it's supposed to be enjoyed together with sparkling water, but I think I done messed up and got tonic water instead.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Apparently the label colors are kind of misleading, but hey, it's not gonna stop us. So let's first have a sample of this, like straight. Yes, neat. Sorry, sorry pumps.
Yes, I think you
Sorry pumps.
highlighted that failing to open your container of gummy bears the other day. It is actually very tight.
I'm just not being a bitch. Okay, this is actually like not easy.
Alright, nope. Got it open. You just gotta grab this part as well.
Okay, that is very heartening. So, that's it. Let's pour a little bit inside, and then we can start dosing upwards in terms of how much tonic water we want to add. Don't worry, it's very dry.
Like the Asahi.
The cups. Alright, so let's first have a sniff. Ooh, very odiously alcoholic.
Yeah, it smells like nail polish.
Right.
What was this again? 40%.
It is the number 1, is the distillery select. It is Kavalan's like most well-known like bottle. So it's like the lowest tier of like Kavalan whiskeys that you would get.
So it's essentially your Glenfiddich 12.
Yeah, basically.
Nope.
Alright, let's give it a taste first.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Hopefully it's not as...
Surprisingly okay.
Actually enjoyable.
Kind of hard. It's kind of hard. Not gonna lie.
Really?
A little bit.
I think it's perfectly fine.
Alcohol flavor comes out a bit too strong.
Honestly, it feels a lot better than your typical party whiskey.
That's true, but it's probably about $30 more than your typical party whiskey,
Fair enough.
right? Isn't it?
Actually, I have no idea. How much is a bottle of that? I haven't actually seen a bottle of that.
Okay, Kavalan bottles rarely go up under 100. This is one of the...
Really?
You buy
No.
buy a 700 ml bottle, probably about 8 something, 9 something.
I believe there was a bottle. I think it was a sherry.
So how much would you like? I think I would go first.
I thought it was a sherry cask. Not sherry cask. I can't remember. There was a bottle that's going about 89. It's one of the...
Is either Concert Master or this?
Fair enough.
Concert Master is the green bottle.
Right. Nope. This is a mixer.
Alright, so this here is going to be our last drink for the night. It's going to be the Kavalan's Distillery Select, number 1, with some tonic water.
Alright.
Cheers, Ben.
Cheers. So tonic water has some sugar in it already. So it's probably gonna taste...
It's a delightful drink now.
Ooh.
Mine is sufficiently watered down, but I can still taste the whiskey. So the alcohol flavor comes through like a lot stronger to me, so I'm going to add a bit more compared to you.
Yeah, I think mine's a bit off in the...
Right? So it subdues the bitterness that you would find in tonic water with some light sweet flavors. So I'm actually getting quite a delightful drink from this. Well, not bad.
Oh yeah.
we can consider doing some of the earlier, cheaper Kavalans in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, has Kavalan really disappointed?
Honestly, no.
Triple Sherry has with mixers, but then again, I think we've come to the conclusion that let's not mix Kavalans with mixers unless we are using the Kavalan bars like recipes.
Yeah, when they are made specifically for mixers.
Right. They have like their own weird, funky formula that they're working with. Quite enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Right. With that said, let's get to the final portion of this video. We don't want to make it too long.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get to the nitty gritty portion. So we know that we have a young, impressionable audience.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that people who follow our Instagram are like probably in the 14 to 20 something
yes.
age range.
They're still far from being able to participate in our activities.
Agreed. But hey, that means that there's a very good chance that you are still in your schooling years, you are still in your formative education years. So how about a couple pearls of wisdoms for these two dudes who have actually finished their educational journeys?
Well, grain of salt, pearls of wisdom may not be very accurate.
Then wisen up.
I am wise, just not streetwise. But in any case,
Ben,
yes.
3 tips. For the average Joe, what would you like to proffer?
Well, the first things first, learn how to smoke. Not that. No, not that smoke. Yes. A different kind of smoking. The term smoking that we use, that I'm more familiar with, is not the one where you put it in your mouth and it's essentially trying to is eloquent bullshit, to put it simply.
Okay, can I just add a disclaimer? He's saying, please do not rokok.
Yes, don't smoke. That's just no.
Okay, but please be good at producing competent answers that help to mask your incompetence.
Essentially, if you want to write anything, just make it sound convincing enough. It doesn't have to be too accurate. I think we live in a day and age that accuracy in your writing doesn't need to be a priority, considering we have someone like Jordan Peterson. But confidence makes a difference. If you can successfully convince someone that whatever you want to propose is worthy of consideration, it is more likely than not that they will accept it. Confidence.
Alright. First pearl of wisdom for me. Please develop your ability to memorize, because understanding concepts is your very first step to being able to apply them. If you are unable to memorize 10 different terms that are relevant to a conversation, you will not be able to make any confident arguments about said 10 points. Alright, Ben, back
Fair
to you.
enough. The terms are definitely necessary to memorize, but I think I would have to disagree that memorization should be the core of your education. I mean, put it simply,
No, you're misunderstanding.
just memorize the terms for smoking.
No, memorization is the core of learning, dumbass.
I would like to disagree. So unfortunately for our education system, you don't have a lot of leeway to study what you want. So it's not easy to apply the advice that I would give, which is to learn something in a way that you enjoy. So it doesn't have to be doing your TYS over and over again, although it is a very good way. It's better if, something in said subject actually entertains you and pushes you to actually find out more. Like, shit, if you watch Oppenheimer and it entices you to go look up exoteric physics concepts, yeah. Or if it makes your day just trying to understand how integration actually works, that's better than just memorizing integration. Find something that entertains you. Life is short.
Okay, besides
hard to
Ben's
study.
absolutely egregious misunderstanding of what I mean by memorizing things, let me offer my second point, which is that your learning is not bound by the education system or education class, education level that you belong to. right? Learning is always going to take place no matter your age, no matter what social group you belong to. So try your best to learn anything. Take some time to do some reflection, because that is when you consolidate your learning. That is how you actually join the dots and start to apply things that are relevant to your life and to your studies, if in that context. Right?
Yeah, don't worry, we're not being sponsored by Brilliant, so we are not gonna go into a speech about Brilliant.com. But you know, if they are going to sponsor us, sure. But that's besides the point.
Last pearl of wisdom, Ben.
Yes, last pearl of wisdom, you will never be able to escape studying, even after you graduate.
Okay, Ben's
Yes.
pessimism aside, time for me to
No,
offer
put it
my
this
last
way. Put it this way. I have graduated from university. I'm still reading academic papers. Why?
pearl. Go
For
on.
this. Essentially for this. Yes, you'll never be able to escape. It's fun. Just realize you're never escaping this.
Okay, Ben's manic rant aside, so my last pearl of wisdom that I have to offer you is that do not feel caged, or do not let your social identity be dictated by the kind of education system that you have went through and you have graduated from. You do not need to feel that you are a JC batch, or you don't need to feel that you are a poly batch and start to create social classes that are based upon this. If anything, you're all just humans. For those who are watching who might be Singaporeans, you are just Singaporeans. So there's nothing to fight over. Education is not a class. If anything, it is simply a indicator for what you have learned. And anything that you learned is useless unless you can apply it. Otherwise, learn for the sake of learning, learn for the sake of enjoyment. Do enjoy your learning process. That's it.
Bottom line, you're all degenerates. Every single one of you. You all watch anime, you're all degenerates. All the same. Alright, cool.
Like, share, and subscribe. And as always, have a nice day. Cheers.